the purpose behind a rap battle? What does a rapper do for an artist? How does a rap battle help a rap artist advance his career? These are some of the questions that people will frequently ask when they hear two artists making a diss record against one another. I'm here to talk to you today about a personal beef between two legendary artists in 1994. Tupac Shakur and Christopher Wallace were the best of friends. These two artists were there for each other. They helped each other out during the time of need. And the world and the media took a personal beef between the two of them and started a Holocaust war between East Coast versus West Coast. Some of the legendary rap battles that taken place were never like the one like this. In 1984, we had KRS-One versus MC Shan. In 1986 to 88, we had The Real Roxanne versus Roxanne Shante. And one of my personal favorites, NWA, when the group broke up itself, which consists of Eric Wright, who was known as Eazy-E, Andre Young, who is known as Dr. Dre, and Ashea Jackson, who is known as Ice Cube. What happened with me with Biggie and Tupac is that these guys did not care who had the better skill or who sold the most records. These guys really took hatred that they had between the two of them, put it on record for the world to listen to, and the world was influenced off of murder in East Coast and West Coast. And let's forget the blood versus the Crips. This was bigger than gangbanging. This was in one entire coast versus another entire coast. If you were an East Coast rapper, you could not perform at all on a West Coast territory. Vice versa, if you were a West Coast rapper, you could not perform safely on East Coast territory. In 1994, Tupac Shakur was shot 5 times and beaten and robbed for his jewelry outside of a Squad recording studio. At the present moment, Biggie Smalls, known as Notorious B.I.G., also known as Christopher Wallace, was in this studio. Tupac believed that Biggie Smalls had everything to do with this shooting. Days later, Tupac was convicted of sexual abuse, who was sentenced to jail with a $200,000 bail. Pac could not afford to pay this. As Tupac sits in jail, as Tupac Land sits in jail, the Notorious B.I.G. lands a huge record deal while Tupac is in jail with Bad Boy record label known as Sean Combs, also known as Puff Daddy, also known as Diddy. While Tupac is sitting in jail, the catalyst of this beef was a record that was put out by Christopher Wallace called Who Shot Ya? On this record was talking about how Tupac was shot subliminally. He did not say Tupac's name, but the lyrics were consistent of what happened to Tupac when he was shot. During the time Tupac sitting in jail, listening to this song that was put out by the Notorious B.I.G., Tupac was anxious to get out of jail. When Tupac got out of jail, he dropped a song called Hit 'Em Up. Not only did this song humiliate Bad Boy and Notorious B.I.G., it also started a war between East Coast versus West Coast. That was the song that started this war between the two of them. A year later, after this war, beef is still going on. Tupac Shakur was murdered in Las Vegas. People still to this day believe that Notorious B.I.G. and his rappers that were around him at the time had everything to do with the murder of Tupac Shakur. The next year, in 1997, the Notorious B.I.G. was murdered right after the Source Hip Hop Awards. The Soul Train Music Awards in Los Angeles. Everyone was telling the Notorious B.I.G. it was too soon to go visit the West Coast after losing Tupac. But knowing the unfairfulness of the Notorious B.I.G., he took the trip anyway, went to the West Coast, and was murdered. What's beef? Why did these two legendary rappers have to die? Why was this beef so tense to where these rappers could not just squash whatever they had to go through and leave it at where it's at? One rapper died when he was 24, Tupac Shakur, and the other rapper died when he was 25, Christopher Wallace. Until this day, these rappers with a short career still are legends of the rap game today. What's beef?